Hello, once again, it's Brother Teacher. Not too long ago, I was online on YouTube specifically and just searching for some information. And for some reason or another, uh, I got onto some videos about police injustice and some of the worst crimes committed by police officers in the United States specifically, but there were some cited from police officers in other parts of the world. But for this particular video, the information that I was more focused on was the atrocities enacted by police officers on this soil, the United States proper. And I came across Eric Garner once again. So I began to look at a couple of videos taking me back to what happened again in New York, Staten Island, when this man who was to some great degree a gentle giant, didn't bother anyone. He was not a violent man by all accounts of those that were not with law enforcement, I should say, to keep it proper. Nowadays, law enforcement, it seems, will say anything to protect their own. But anyway, I was watching the video, uncut, when the police first happened upon Eric Garner and confronted him about selling loose cigarettes. I find it disturbing, before I go any further into the story, but I find it disturbing, and I always have found it disturbing, when a so-called public official treats the people that are in the public as if they are ignorant, have no common sense, no education whatsoever, but they treat you as if you were beneath them. So much so, anytime you try to defend yourself verbally, and I'm not saying in a malicious way or violent way, but I'm just saying in general, when you try to defend yourself or stand up for someone else, when you have a confrontation or an ordeal with the police in the streets, particularly when you're a black individual, they discard and sort of push you off to the side, ignoring you as if you don't really matter at all. So I saw Mr. Garner as he was being approached by the police officers. It was approximately 2 or 3 in the view of the camera. And he said, "You guys are always harassing me." This is not verbatim, but this is the gist of what he said. He said, "Every time you come out here, you're always talking about me selling loose cigarettes." I'm not saying he never sold loose cigarettes, mind you, but we're talking about the day that was in question, when Mr. Garner lost his life forever. But again, he kept telling them, "You can't show me who it is that I have sold any cigarettes to. Where are they?" He kept on asking the question, who did I sell cigarettes to? I was breaking up a fight, minding my own business. And even the onlooker, especially the gentleman that had the camera phone, even he told them, and then several individuals after that, that he was breaking up a fight between two individuals. And the police ignored everything that was said to them and continued to harass that man. And after a period of time, they were going to arrest him. The one police officer, Daniel, can't pronounce his name right now, but I'll leave it in the description. He placed Eric in a chokehold immediately for no reason, taking him to the ground, and then the other officers that were standing there and arriving took part in taking him to the ground. He was a big man, but it was approximately 12 police officers standing around him on the scene. And he said several times that he could not breathe. And we all know that this sparked a international rally with everyone carrying signs and wearing t-shirts stating, "I can't breathe," as a result of Mr. Garner's death. So this man died at the hands of a police officer for no reason. Let me say it again. He died as the result of a police officer placing him in a chokehold with no evidence. First of all, it was not an authorized hold that he had on Mr. Garner. It was not policy to use that technique, number one. Number two, he presented no threat. Number three, they had no evidence of him even doing anything. And he was choked. And ultimately, he succumbed to asphyxiation and he died because he could not breathe. And what's crazy, the irony of the whole thing, is that that same police officer wanted his job back. And that same police officer made a statement. He issued a statement extending his condolences and that of his families to the Garner family, which was denied by his wife, Eric, that is. It's a shame. And then they did not only did they not indict the man, he spent no jail time. He's free, out of the justice system. He is a free man, and he literally murdered a citizen, another human being, for no reason. Now, I personally do not care if there's a police officer watching this video right now or anyone in law enforcement. I don't care if you're watching this video right now and you disagree with me. Ask yourself this question: what do you represent? That's the first question you need to ask yourself. What do you represent? Do you actually represent the people? Or is it this code of silence, this blue shield of protection that you represent? Even when your fellow police officer has been exposed of doing a crime, committing a crime. Now, ask yourself also along that same line, what is your duty? What is your job? What did you take an oath for? Benefits, perks, protection, power. You took an oath to protect and serve the people of your city, to uphold the Constitution of the Federal Republic and the Constitution of the state in which you preside. That's what you took an oath for. Nothing else. When did you forget what your duty was? It's on film or video, rather. It's plain to see, virtually from the outset to the ugly end, what happened to Eric Garner. Now, any police officer, as I forestated, that's watching this, if you don't have eyes and you can't see that, something is wrong and you need to remove the scales from your eyes. But if you saw what everyone else saw in that video, you have two choices. No more. Two. You can either turn a deaf ear and turn your eyes away from it and ignore it and side for your fellow police officers that do indeed break the law like Daniel did, or you can be proactive and you can speak out against police officers like him. That's what you should do. That is what your job position encompasses. And if you can't do that, you don't need to be a police officer. You need to find some other employment, another vocation. And if anyone has anything negative to say about this video, it is because you are in agreement with this type of behavior. It doesn't matter if a jury found him not guilty, but if the evidence outweighs what anyone's opinion is and the general public has seen it for what it is, he's guilty. And so are all of the other police officers that have shot and killed unarmed, unthreatening black men, women, and teens in the past decade or more. That's it. So I'm interested in knowing, what is your viewpoint, anyone watching this right now, on what happened to Eric Garner? Where do you stand? Are you straddling the fence, or are you on the side of justice, or are you on the side of wrong? You can only have it one way. That man lost his life for nothing. He was taken away from his wife, his children, his family, his friends, for naught. And there is some semblance of accountability from the city of New York, in which he resided and died, because they offered his widow $5 million, but they never admitted any wrong. Now, isn't that an admission of wrong? Okay, we won't go any further with that. You just let me know, and I'm curious to know what your feelings are to this day, because we're going on the 3rd year anniversary this coming summer of Eric Garner's death. When he couldn't breathe, but he was breathing okay until someone stopped him from breathing. This is Brother Teacher. Let me know what your comments are on this story of yesteryears now. I'd be interested in knowing. So long.